back to the 90s!
Nick, 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 Nick.
Oh, here it goes.
I'm a did, he's a did, she's a did, we're all today. I'm a did, he's a did, she's a did, we're all today.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to Nostal-Ged. I freaking love Disney. Everyone does. Everyone loves Disney. And for a lot of people, their first memories of Disney are things like Little Mermaid, Lion King, Aladdin. Not me. My first memories when I think about Disney is live-action Disney films. More specifically, recording live-action Disney films off the Disney Channel on my VHS player. Yes, I am that old, but films like Homeward Bound, Blank Check, Rocketeer, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, these films are what raised me. So, I'm going to show some love to them, and we are counting down our top 10 favourite live-action Disney films. Now, there is one rule before we get into it. You will not find live-action remakes of Disney classics here. Things like the Cinderella live-action, the Lion King one, Mulan. If you like those, great. They're not my cup of tea. I really don't like them, so go find that somewhere else. You're not going to find it here. Anything else, like Disney Channel movies, straight to the fair theatres or released on video, as long as it's Disney, live-action, feature-length films, we can count it here. We all good? Right, let's get into it. My top 10 favourite live-action Disney films. I'm so excited for this one. Let's get it. That's right, let's set this list off with a bang. I can't believe I just said that, that's so cringy. But I know, really you weren't expecting to find something as modern as Descendants on this channel. We are a nostalgia-based channel, but I don't care. I freaking love the Descendants films. I cannot wait for Descendants 4 in July. I am so hyped. And the thing about the Descendants films, they kind of feel a bit 90s, right? The live sets, the costumes, the songs, they have a 90s feel to them. If you haven't seen the Descendant films, go give them a chance. You'll love them just like I did. Descendants takes the folklore of all the Disney classics like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, and it has this Disney Channel movie feel to it that just makes classics for a modern generation. I wish someone at Disney would just point to these films, to the people in charge, and just say, this is what we want, original films. We don't care about those remakes. Let's do more of this. God damn it, I love Brendan Fraser, especially 90s Brendan Fraser. Films like Encino Man, Airheads, Blast from the Past, The Mummy. And my favourite Brendan Fraser film has got to be George of the Jungle. This film is great because of Brendan Fraser. He's just so likeable as George. This is a funny film. Anytime I show someone this film, I just don't get why people don't love it like I do. It is absolutely nuts, but in the best possible way. Talking gorillas, musical numbers, romance, laugh out loud comedy. And of course, for the girls, let's take a moment to talk about Brendan Fraser's abs in this film. That guy is cut. Now, I remember this very clearly. It was 2002. I had just gone to college. It was my first weekend at college. I was on a date with a girl in the cinema. And the trailer came on for the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. On stumbles Johnny Depp doing this weird walk in this English accent. Keira Knightley is making puns about her corset. And I distinctly remember I turned to my date and I said, that looks god-awful and that is gonna flop. Cut to 6 months later, I'm in the cinema watching the Pirates of the Caribbean film with a different date. That one with the first girl didn't work out, like many of them didn't in college. But I could not have been more wrong. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl is a goddamn masterpiece. Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Johnny Depp, and especially Geoffrey Rush as Barbossa, perfect casting. The sets were incredible and arguably one of the greatest musical scores of any film ever made. Literally weeks after watching this, I was cosplaying as Barbossa. I love it. Now this is what a Disney Channel movie looks like. They just do not make films like The Heavyweights anymore. In fact, when I first thought about making this list, Heavyweights was the first film that popped into my head. Literally 30 seconds does not pass in this film without me laughing my ass off. The kids in this are just outstanding. You've got Carp and Goldberg from Mighty Ducks. You've got Kenan Thompson. Every single kid in this is amazing. And Ben Stiller, Jesus Christ, this is his first real movie, and he is so over the top and insane as Tony Perkis. He is so unhinged, so scary, that you start to begin to worry a little bit for these little fatties. I mean, if you didn't figure it out, I am British, I'm Northern. We don't have summer camps here in Britain. It made me want to be American just so I could go to summer camp. I wanted to ride the go-karts. And how much fun did the Blob look in that film? Incredible. I so wanted to go to summer camp. Oh, and a massive shout out to Lars. That's my guy. Buddy! Once the 90s ended, Disney really didn't waste time making live-action movies like they once did. Sure, there was a couple like Snow Dogs, The Country Bears, Ice Princess, but they were all pretty crappy. Cue Kenny Ortega, the man responsible for Disney classics like Newsies, Hocus Pocus, and now he does Descendant films. And High School Musical took over the world. And that's not an exaggeration. When High School Musical first came out, you could not move anywhere without seeing it. The songs were in the charts. The kids were wearing the clothes. There was a stage show of it. It was High School Musical mania. And at the time, I was at college and it was such a guilty pleasure of mine. I had to hide how much I loved High School Musical and High School Musical 2, just as good as the first one. Now I don't give a crap who knows it. High School Musical is one of my all-time favourite films. I embarrass my daughters by dancing and singing around the living room to all the Sharpay bits. And while we're on it, Gabriella sucks. Sharpay is the queen.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Cool running.
Sweet baby Jesus, I must have burned out my VHS copy of Cool Runnings. I swear to God, I watched it every day on repeat for like 3 years straight. I was obsessed with this film. And what is not to love about Cool Runnings? It's a true underdog story about the first Jamaican bobsled team. It's a classic. And can we just take a moment to talk about John Candy? How incredible is John Candy? There are few people who have ever existed as great as John Candy. No one dislikes him. He is truly loved. What a legend. Cool Runnings holds such a special spot in everybody's heart. I still quote this film every day over 30 years since the first time I ever saw this film. Sanka, you dead. Kiss my lucky egg. Freezing my Rastafarian knee-knees off. And, of course, I give that speech to my daughters. I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother. That is absolutely one of my favourite lines in any film ever. Cool Runnings is an all-time classic. I love this film.
Enough people said they know they can believe. Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. Billy Bones, it's me. Blind Pierre.
It's curry o'clock, baby! It is physically impossible for me to do a top 10 favourites list and Tim Curry not to pop up. And I know I talk about Tim Curry a lot on this channel, but here, as Long John Silver in Muppet's Treasure Island, he was born to play this part. I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, so I had every single Muppets movie. Muppets Take Manhattan, The Great Muppet Caper. I love the Muppets. I'm here to tell you that Muppets Treasure Island is the best Muppets film by far, and that includes Muppets Christmas Carol. Muppets Treasure Island works on every single level. The humour, the puppetry, the live actors, the incredible sets, the tunes. I love the songs in Muppets Treasure Island. They are catchy as balls. Especially Boom Shakalaka and Cabin Fever, yeah! Tim Curry singing Honest, Brave and True is a spectacle. And something better, that song by Jimmy Jim Jim Jim, played by Britain's own Kevin Bishop, is beautiful. I know it's stupid that I care this much about a Muppets film, but god damn it, it's so good! Wow, okay, Mighty Ducks. Now, I'm going to get a little bit deep here, go on a bit of a tangent, and I know a throwaway underdog 90s Disney sports film shouldn't have impacted my life, but sweet Christ, Mighty Ducks truly changed my life. Now, when I first saw the Mighty Ducks, I fell in love with it, and it made me fall in love with ice hockey. Now, like we mentioned earlier, I'm British. We don't just have ice rinks everywhere, like you do in Canada or the USA. So every Sunday, with all my gear, I'd have to get 2 buses and a tram all the way across Manchester to Altrincham to learn to skate and eventually join a team. Joined a team in Copley. Great, I love ice hockey. And it wasn't just me it affected. It was a massive scale. Eventually, Manchester got its own ice hockey team, the Manchester Storm. I still go to watch them now. And it is mad that a sport like ice hockey could take over somewhere like Manchester. There'd be 15,000 Manx sitting in the 9X Arena watching the Manchester Storm. And it was all off the back of this one film. And you could say, you know what, kids have fads, kids get into sports, that's great. But 30 years later, the most insane thing happened. COVID took over the world, and I was working from home at the time, and then I got furloughed, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I started a YouTube channel, and I would spend my time emailing and calling hundreds, if not thousands, of stars that I grew up watching. But the first person to ever agree to come on Nostal-Ged, when I first started out, no views, no subscribers, was Connie Moreau herself. Marguerite Moreau, who played Connie Moreau in the Mighty Ducks, was the first person I did an interview with. And that night, I hung up the phone after speaking to Connie Moreau, who I'd watched and idolised since I was small, and I knew then that Nostal-Ged was going to take over my life. Now, I'm sorry for ranting. The Mighty Ducks films just mean the world to me. They have done since I was small. Don't worry, I'm not going to go into another 10-minute rant about how much I love Mighty Ducks. That's out of the way. We've done that. But Mighty Ducks 2 is by far the best Mighty Ducks film. And you could go as far as saying Mighty Ducks 2 is the greatest sports film of all time. Now, Mighty Ducks 1 is like having an ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream. Mighty Ducks 2 is like having an ice cream and having sprinkles and a flake and sauce. It's like a sundae. You take everything that we love from the originals, the likes of Charlie and Goldberg, Connie, Fulton, and then you add new ducks. You add the sprinkles. Russ, played by Keenan and Kel's Keenan Thompson. Then you've got the cowboy, Dwayne Robinson. You've got Julie the Cat Gaffney. And of course, Dean Portman. He forms the Bash Brothers with Fulton. As we've proven, I could literally talk for hours about my love for the Mighty Ducks films. And Mighty Ducks 2, it's just outstanding. And it was nearly my favourite live-action Disney film.
I put a spell on you, and now you're gone.
sure a lot of you will have Hocus Pocus at number 1. It is a film I love so much, I only let myself watch it once a year. Hocus Pocus is my go-to every Halloween. While the decorations are going up, before the trick-or-treaters come banging on me door every 2 seconds, I put on Hocus Pocus and I steal the Reese's Pieces out the trick-or-treaters box. Growing up in the 90s, we'd go to the cinema every week with my friends, but I still remember the first time I saw this film because I didn't know I was going to be watching Hocus Pocus. When I was a kid, my dad wasn't around a lot. He served in the army and him and my mum split when I was very young. But once in a blue moon on a Sunday, we'd get together, we'd go to Manchester Storm matches, he'd take me to Main Road to watch Man City. But I remember there was one Sunday he took me to the cinema, and it was the only time we ever went to the cinema together. And he didn't tell me what we were going to watch, so we found our seat, we got our popcorn, and this film started, and it opened with this little girl, Emily, and she'd been stolen by these witches, and they were sucking the life out of her. And I grabbed my dad's arm so tight, I must have been, 5 or 6 at the time, and he was never that emotional, but I remember I held his arm so tight, and he pulled me in close, and it was such a great moment between me and my dad. And now I'm grown, and I've got my 2 daughters, and I watch this film every year with them, and we all dress up as the Sanderson sisters, and I'm always Bette Midler, and they make me do the musical number. I don't know if it's because I'm ginger and Bette Midler's ginger, there might be something to that, but people love Hocus Pocus, and it is truly a great family film, and one that has now turned into a Halloween classic in every home around the world. And I now just have to wait, another 5 months before I can watch it? God, that's going to be a long wait. Because I truly love this film. Hocus Pocus is my favourite live-action Disney film.
Twist the bones and bend the back. Here to take up the Malika Mystic. Trim him of his baby fat.
And that's it, that's going to wrap up the list for today. Top 10 favourite live-action Disney films. I gotta tell you guys, I had an absolute ball making this list. This might have been my new favourite video to make. Going back and watching all these films that I grew up watching on VHS, I had the time of my life. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I say this every time, I really appreciate there's 1,000,001 channels out there. The fact that you guys come here to listen to me ramble about films that I love just astounds me. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that shite. And now we have a Facebook page as well. Get yourselves to Facebook, search for Nostal-Ged. You'll find us there, you'll see us live streaming at events and stuff. Get in the comments. Do you agree with my list? Which ones do you remember? Which ones do you love? Guys, catch you on the next one. G out.